All right, guys, back again, and so's hurricane season. So in this project, I've decided to take my car and make it into an emergency camper when necessary. So we're going to be addressing a few projects on this to be able to pack it up and go in the event of a hurricane, a wildfire, or a weekend camping trip or day at the racetrack or something. So we've got a few projects that I want to tackle. The first being ventilation, which you will see shortly. The next one is going to be insulation. So windshield's easy, windshield sunscreen, not a problem. I am not going for stealth here. That's going to be the big thing. This would be something that I would try to find a campsite, not necessarily find a parking lot somewhere or anything and try and black everything out so people don't know I'm in it. Again, this is car camping, but car camping instead of a tent in case of heavy winds and rain. So, windshield screen, that's taken care of. The next thing is going to be the rest of the windows. Primary concern in the summer, keep the sun out and try and keep it cool on the inside. And in the winter, try and keep the heat in. So I've done a bunch of research and opted for DIY window coverings made out of Reflectix. This looks like it's kind of my best bet for a temporarily stick it in the windows and move on kind of thing. I've seen some people do a black fabric on there to make sure everything's nice and blacked out. And I think that can also help in the winter with actually kind of absorbing. But my primary concern, especially where I'm going to be, is going to be heat. So I want as reflective as I can get it. I've got pretty good tint on the rear windows. The front windows and windshield, however, are crystal clear. So we're going to be cutting this up to fit in all of my windows, including the rear one, to make a nice space inside and try and keep the heat out. Now, another big thing that I want to take care of outside of the ventilation and the insulation is going to be power, and power for things like either a portable fridge or a powered cooler. So the first thing's going to be that I can't use the onboard battery. I do have a connector in the front that allows me to connect a battery charger to it just in case it runs low. Everything else is pretty much going to be one of my big power stations with the 120 volt and 12 volt outlets on it, in addition to trying to find a campsite with shore power, if possible, like 120 volt power. So I do want to be running in a temporary hidden plug in here to get power from inside to outside, or from outside to inside, and make that all nice and weather sealed, and to ground it to the body of the car, because I know some campsites don't want you connecting to power if the chassis could become electrified. You have to have it bonded to the frame. So we'll probably be doing that, but that may be another video. So for right now, we're going to be tackling the insulation, the ventilation, and then basically just the overall interior of some temporary lighting and where to sleep and entertainment, things like that. Again, this is pretty much just for emergency camping. Also would have a big roof box on the top for luggage and extra storage and things, and then probably a bike rack on the back. So if I go somewhere, take the mountain bike and, make a weekend out of it. So welcome to my my project vehicle here, and hopefully it doesn't drive me nuts. All right, step one should be pretty easy. Install windscreen sun protector. All right, other than the fact that I didn't remove anything from the windshield, it fits like a windshield sun protector. All right, on to the other windows. This would be so much easier without wind. I need tape. All right, not too bad. Only a few errors here and there. So I'll correct those. Use this as a template, and we just mirror it for the other one. Then move on to the back. All right, you get the idea. I'll be back when I get the rest of these done. All right, next up is some of the power stuff. So right here, we've actually got a little plug that just stays in here all the time. And this is a connector for a Victron smart battery charger. That way, it's just 120 volt plug-in. Now, I do have jumper packs, but this will allow me to connect a charger that's also a power source directly into the battery, so that I can either charge it up if for some reason the house battery runs dead, like the main starter battery, or if I've got certain things that I want to run in there, like just have the radio on or the fan in the dash or anything like that, I can actually plug this in and run it off 120 volts so I don't drain my battery down. All right, next up is, well, I guess what actually makes this into a place to camp, and that is going to be power, somewhere to sleep, and somewhere to keep food. Pretty much everything else, since this would be an evacuation, pretty much everywhere else is going to be full of things that I need to take with me. So if we go ahead and fold down the seats, we get a lot more room in here. So the sleeping is going to be one of these quad folding gym mats, and then over the top of this I have one of the self-inflating camp mattresses, and then you would use like a camp sheet or a sleeping bag if it was colder and if it was needed. So just right in here, and as you can see, I have plenty of room, and I can actually sit up in here depending on where I am. So this would be my bed over here, and then I've got all of this space next to me, floorboards, passenger seat, and then the luggage. So right here, we are going to put in a powered cooler. Now, I would like to eventually replace this with an actual 12-volt refrigerator. I do have a power socket right here in the back that this can plug into when underway, like when the car's running. The problem is this is only rated to drop down about 40 degrees or so. This is just a Coleman, I think like 42 quart cooler. And essentially it uses electricity and a fan with what's called a tech in it to transfer heat out of the cooler. I've used this before for like brining a turkey at Thanksgiving and things like that. and I do get to use it occasionally around the house. So at some point I want to get an actual portable refrigerator that would do double duty, overflow in the house and things, and then camping trips and road trips and things like that. So this guy would just go in here, right like this, and then we've got our little portable cooler slash refrigerator, with still plenty of room for the bed. So next up is, how do we power all of this when the engine's not running, like when we're at a campsite? And that brings me to this guy. This is a EcoFlow Delta 2, not sponsored. This is one that I use all the time around the house. I have several different power banks, but this is my largest. And so this guy would just go in here in the car, and then we've got USB-C, we've got 12-volt power on the back, and 120-volt outlets. These guys are pretty neat. These are MC4 extensions that are flat. So they allow you to run through things like door seals and actually close the door on them without hurting the wires or messing up your weather seal. And this allows me to connect to something like this portable solar panel. This is a 100-watt folding solar panel. So depending, if I've got 120 volts at the campsite, then I can just pull up, and I want to run a cord in, again, like I said in the beginning, and bond it and everything to bring 120-volt power in, and then that would just go into here, and everything would connect into here. But if I don't have 120-volt power, then I can at least put a solar panel out if the weather is somewhat good and see what power I can get in pretty easily. This all makes it kind of to where you can boondock and not have to have a powered site if none are available. Additionally, I think we're going to put up some little USB like LED cafe lights around for lighting, and then a couple of fans. If it's super cold out, winter, things like that, I've got a 120-volt like switchable 400, 800, 1200 watt heater that could go in here. Beyond that, I mean, it's kind of rudimentary. There's a lot more I could do, and there's a lot less I could do. So for its purpose, and not, hopefully not living in here, I think this is going to be about it. So let's get some of this stuff put in, and, well, I'll see you when we're ready to head out. All right, guys. Welcome to the finished product. I would, of course, have a lot more stuff in here if I was actually doing an evacuation or a trip, but this is basically all of the supplies I would need for the camping portion of it. Anything else would pretty much just be stuff that I want to take with me during the evacuation, and most of my camping gear and things like that would actually be in the roof box. So I have quite a lot of room in here. There's really no issue, especially being by myself. I have plenty of room to lay down and sleep. I've got ample room to sit up and read, use the iPad, anything like that. This is primarily for if it is non-tent weather, especially, to have a tent with me, have my sleeping bag and a camp mat and things. But if it's the outer bands of a hurricane or something, if there's a hurricane somewhere along the coast or anything like that, then you got to go pretty far inland to not get significant wind and rain, which is not great weather for tents. So this is primarily a storm shelter. a place to be if the weather does get bad, and being in a tent is really no fun. So again, this is not for stealth camping. I really tried to build this out as cheaply as possible because I don't know how often I'm going to use it, and for being at a campground, preferably one with power. Now, right now, everything is running off of the Delta 2 power bank over here. I do have my powered cooler running, which could be replaced by a portable refrigerator. I've got a fan, as I'm sure you can hear, because right now it is 90 degrees and continuously raining, so the humidity is like 95%. I've got my lights, and then I have my window vent in with my intake and exhaust fan, just to keep the air circulating in here so it doesn't get stale, doesn't have carbon dioxide buildup or anything, just from, breathing in and out. And doesn't build up a ton of moisture in here. You don't want a lot of condensation and stuff. So overall, I'm really happy with this. I have plenty of room in here, as I said before, and there are maybe a few minor changes I would want to make, but overall it feels really cozy. So I'm gonna grab the camera, and you guys can come on in. All right, guys, welcome inside. As you can tell, it's a really cozy place to be in here. Now, again, it is 95% humidity, raining, and 90 degrees today, so it's in general just going to be a little humid. A portable air conditioner would be a wonderful addition here, but that's going to take power. You got to vent it out a window and stuff, and it can be quite noisy. But eventually, that may be something that I look into, just to have on hand. So most things in here were things that I already had or stuff that I can use around the house. I don't know how often I'm going to need to use this or want to use this. Uh, you know, it is really just a storm sanctuary instead of a tent camping thing. So as you can see, I've got lots of space behind me, and over here I've got a case between the seat and the back seat that's folded down. I do have my fans running, my cooler running. So a lot of this stuff, again, you'd have more space taken up if you're packed and have things in here, for an emergency to get out of somewhere. But a lot of that stuff is also all my camping gear on the roof and everything, but the cases and stuff fit really well with the seat forward in between the seats. When driving in the actual my driving position, they would most likely be where I am now with the mattress folded up. So overall, you can see I've got all of the reflectics in the window and the sunshades in. And then I've got this folded down with my intake and exhaust vent over here. And I was going to cut this out around the vents, but I really kind of like the idea of just folding it down when needed. And then if I want to block the window out, I can move the vent out of the window or something. Maybe if the storms were super, super bad and I wouldn't want the vent in there at all, and so that would be kind of a nice thing to be able to block that off completely. Overall, it, again, fairly comfortable in here. If I had a case behind me, then I could actually prop up more. It kind of fills the gap back here so that I can sit up and, use my iPad, computer, phone, whatever I need to. Of course, I've got the front seat, so if I wanted to sit somewhere. And again, with my power input on the battery, I could technically run the vehicle fan as well to circulate air. Let me flip this around, and you can see I've got the powered cooler right here. Again, if you had a portable refrigerator or something, this would pretty much be what it would take up. be the same amount of space. And then you've got plenty of room all over here, and I've got my battery, my fan is running, and then I've got ample headroom. You know, that's not a problem. I have plenty of width right here, and I can stretch out completely. Next week's video should be on how I made this custom vent fan for the window. That was a pretty fun prototyping experience, and you could make it with general tools, or you could do what I did and use a whole lot of technology. So stay tuned for that one, guys. Like, subscribe if you want to see more content, and I will see you guys in the next one.